If you grew up in the 80s, you remember dinners that were quick, comforting, and totally iconic. In this video, we count down 14 meals that often graced the family table: hamburger helper, sloppy joes, taco night, TV dinners, tuna noodle casserole, chicken divan, beef stroganoff, green bean casserole, shepherd's pie, 7-layer dip, pork chops with shake and bake, Salisbury steak, pasta primavera, and onion dip with chips. We'll dive into how the microwave revolution, convenience, and a dash of kitchen ingenuity shaped weeknights and flavor alike. Get ready for nostalgia, a few laughs, and maybe a craving for a retro bite. 1. Hamburger helper. The one-pot wonder. Less than p greater than. Picture this. It's 1987, your mom just finished a long day at work, and dinner needs to happen fast. Enter Hamburger Helper, the superhero of busy weeknights. It guided families who were striving to stretch a pound of meat into a dinner for 5. With one pan, 1 pound of hamburger and 1 package, Hamburger Helper revolutionized dinner. It was economical, convenient, filled with variety, and enjoyed by the entire family. Less than p greater than Hamburger Helper became extremely popular, with millions of households regularly serving it for dinner. For kids of the 80s, that familiar helping hand mascot on the box meant comfort food was coming. The creamy cheese sauce mixed with pasta and ground beef created something magical in that single skillet. Less than p greater than. 2. Sloppy joes. Sweet, saucy chaos. Less than p greater than. If there was ever a meal that perfectly captured the spirit of the 80s, it was the glorious mess known as sloppy joes. Sloppy joes, with their tangy, sweet meat sauce piled on a bun, were a favorite. This dish was a hit at family dinners and potlucks alike. The genius of this meal wasn't just its taste, but how it transformed ordinary ground beef into something special with just a can of manwich sauce. Less than p greater than. No, sloppy joes weren't just school lunchroom fare, they made regular appearances on dinner tables, too. Canned manwich, arguably the most popular way to make sloppy joes, was introduced in 1969, but it really took off in the 80s. It may not be as popular today as it once was, but it's still a fast, cheap, and filling meal. Nothing said, Saturday night dinner, quite like watching your family try to eat these without making a complete mess. Less than p greater than. 3. Taco night. Build your own adventure. Less than p greater than. Tuesday meant one thing in countless 80s households: taco night. America really started its love affair with ground beef hard-shell tacos in the 80s, and it's been a staple ever since. Families with lots of kids especially loved it since everyone made their own. The beauty of taco night wasn't just the food, it was the democracy of dinner. Less than p greater than. Hate lettuce? No problem, load up on cheese. Love heat? Pass the jalapenos, please. Taco night was always something special to look forward to. Parents loved it because 1 pound of ground beef could feed the whole family when stretched with hard shells and toppings. Kids loved it because they got to be the architect of their own meal. Less than p greater than. 4. TV dinners. Entertainment on a tray. Less than p greater than. Before microwaves became ubiquitous and meal delivery services existed, TV dinners were the ultimate convenience food of the 1980s. For us parents juggling work and family life, these aluminum trayed meals were a godsend, while our kids viewed them as special treats, especially when eaten on TV trays while watching their favorite shows. Let's revisit these frozen time capsules that defined quick dining in the era of big hair and shoulder pads. Less than p greater than. The king of TV dinners featured carved turkey, stuffing, and that signature corn that always stayed hot enough to burn your tongue. The hungry man portion size meant you actually got enough food to feel satisfied. That little apple dessert in the middle was always the first thing kids ate, despite parents' protests. The compartmentalized aluminum trays made every meal feel like a special event, even if it came from the freezer. Less than p greater than. 5. Tuna noodle casserole. The ultimate comfort food. Less than p greater than. When your mom needed to feed a crowd without breaking the bank, she turned to the holy grail of 80s comfort food: tuna noodle casserole. Similarly, casseroles like tuna noodle casserole and beef stroganoff became go-to recipes for their ease and comforting flavors. This dish was like a warm hug in casserole form: egg noodles, canned tuna, cream of mushroom soup, and those crispy fried onions on top. Less than the magic happened when all these simple ingredients came together in one baking dish. It was the kind of meal that could stretch to feed unexpected dinner guests, and leftovers tasted even better the next day. Every family had their own secret twist. Some added peas, others threw in cheese, but the core remained the same: pure, creamy comfort. Less than, P greater than. 6. Chicken divan. Fancy made simple. Less than P greater than. This tasty chicken divan recipe was given to me by a friend years ago, and it's been a family favorite ever since. My daughters enjoy making this dish in their own homes and get the same enthusiastic compliments I always do. Chicken divan was the dish that made every mom feel like a gourmet chef, even though it came together with just a few simple ingredients. Less than P greater than chicken divan is an easy casserole that is full of rotisserie chicken and broccoli. It has the perfect crunchy top and wonderful on its own or served over rice or pasta. It's simple and fast with very little work. The perfect weeknight dinner. The combination of tender chicken, broccoli, and that golden, bubbly cheese sauce made this dish feel special enough for company but easy enough for a Tuesday night. Less than P greater than. 7. Beef stroganoff. Creamy European flair. Less than P greater than. Nothing said. Sophisticated dining. In the 80s, quite like beef stroganoff. I wanted to lighten my mother-in-law's wonderful recipe and came up with this tasty beef stroganoff. In our home, we call it special noodles. This dish brought a touch of European elegance to American dinner tables, transforming simple ingredients into something that felt restaurant-worthy. Less than P greater than. The creamy mushroom sauce coating tender strips of beef over egg noodles was the kind of meal that made the whole house smell amazing. It was hearty enough to satisfy Dad after a long day at work, yet refined enough that Mom felt proud serving it to guests. The best part? Most of the cooking happened in one pan, making cleanup surprisingly manageable. Less than P greater than. 8. Green bean casserole. The holiday hero. Less than P greater than. I consider green bean casserole the king of canned food meals. It's ridiculously simple to assemble and widely adored, even for a from-scratch home cook like me. The best version is made with canned cream of mushroom soup, whole milk, or vegetable broth, canned green beans, and for crunch fried onions. Less than P greater than. This wasn't just a holiday side dish. It was a year-round comfort food that could turn any Tuesday into something special. The genius was in its simplicity. Open a few cans, mix everything together, top with those magical French fried onions, and bake. 20 minutes later, you had a dish that looked like you'd spent hours in the kitchen. Less than P greater than. 9. Shepherd's pie. Leftovers transformed. Less than P greater than. Oh, how I loved me some shepherd's pie. Mom would usually make this on a Monday with leftover mashed potatoes from Sunday night's dinner. She used ground beef, canned green beans, canned tomato soup, mashed potatoes, and cheddar cheese. This was the ultimate, clean out the refrigerator, meal that somehow always tasted better than its humble origins suggested. Less than P greater than. Kind of an odd combination as I think back on it. I loved it. My sister, Gina, hated it. There's always one kid you can't please. The beauty of shepherd's pie was its versatility. Every family had their own version, but the concept remained the same: meat and vegetables topped with fluffy mashed potatoes and baked until golden. It was comfort food architecture at its finest. Less than P greater than. 10. 7-layer dip. Party time essential. Less than P greater than. People love 7-layered things. Salad was the big one in previous decades, but 7-layer dip reigned supreme in the 1980s. Tex-Mex food, we thought of it as just Mexican food back then, was gaining popularity fast, and this dip layered all the best stuff: guacamole, refried beans, sour cream, veggies, and cheese. Salsa was also a must, since this is the decade when it started to become as American as apple pie. Less than P greater than less than P greater than this wasn't just an appetizer, it was edible architecture. Building the perfect 7-layer dip was an art form, and every family had their own technique for getting those layers just right. This classic party dip is layered with all your favorites: refried beans, creamy sour cream, guacamole, salsa, and more all in one bite. If you usually turn to the store-bought version, trust me, it's worth making it at home. Ready in under 30 minutes, this is the easiest last-minute app to prepare when you need a guaranteed crowd pleaser. Less than P greater than 11. Pork chops with shake and bake. Less than P greater than. Yep, we're talking about shake and bake. Making breaded pork chops, or chicken drumsticks, or fish, if you were fancy, on the stove is a mess with splatting oil, but shake and bake solved all that nonsense. This revolutionary product turned every parent into a culinary genius with just a bag and a shake. Less than P greater than. Less than P greater than. Need a perky update for pork chops? Ranch dressing and Parmesan breading add a delightful zing. The satisfying ritual of shaking those pork chops in that bag became as much a part of dinner preparation as setting the table. Kids loved helping with the shaking, and parents loved the crispy results without the mess of traditional frying. Less than P greater than 12. Salisbury steak. TV dinner royalty. Less than P greater than. Microwaves were the height of convenience at the time, so frozen meals were popular. One of the most common was Salisbury steak, a seasoned beef patty that's a burger and meatloaf mashup. It was always drenched in gravy, of course, and usually came with mashed potatoes too. Later on, you'd start seeing the dish in school lunches, but it's clearly dropped in popularity since then. Less than P greater than. Less than P greater than. Salisbury steak occupied a special place in the frozen food hierarchy. It wasn't just a burger, and it wasn't quite meatloaf. It was something uniquely 80s, swimming in that brown gravy that somehow made everything taste better. The meal came with perfectly portioned vegetables and mashed potatoes, all contained in that aluminum tray that made dinner feel like an event. Less than P greater than 13. Pasta primavera. Vegetable sophistication. Less than P greater than. Food critics have noted that pasta primavera became emblematic of 1980s cooking trends, with the dish representing the era's approach to seasonal ingredients and the blend of French and Italian culinary influences. Less than P greater than. Less than P greater than. It burst onto the scene, and it was on every Italian restaurant's menu, so naturally moms wanted to try and do it up at home, too. Turns out, it's a pretty easy and economical recipe, so many lucky families got to eat that creamy, sophisticated pasta often. This dish represented the 80s obsession with making ordinary ingredients feel fancy. Broccoli, carrots, and bell peppers suddenly became elegant when tossed with pasta and a creamy sauce. Less than P greater than 14. Onion dip and chips. The ultimate snack. Less than P greater than. The 1980s were big on dips, and onion dip was one of the easiest dips to make that was also incredibly satisfying. This wasn't just a snack, it was a cultural phenomenon that turned every gathering into a party. The magic formula was simple. A packet of onion soup mix stirred into sour cream, served with ridged potato chips for maximum dip holding capacity. Less than P greater than. Less than P greater than. The beauty of onion dip was its reliability. It required zero cooking skills, could be made in 5 minutes, and never failed to disappear at parties. Kids begged for it at sleepovers, teenagers demanded it at study sessions, and adults secretly enjoyed it while watching Dallas or Dynasty. It was the ultimate crowd pleaser that somehow made every occasion feel more festive. Less than P greater than. The 80s dinner table was a reflection of changing times. Working parents needed convenience, but families still craved comfort. These 14 meals weren't just food, they were the soundtrack to our childhood dinner conversations, the backdrop to family arguments, and the foundation of countless memories. Whether you loved them or hated them, these dishes defined a decade when convenience met creativity, and every meal felt like a small adventure. What would you have guessed was the most popular dish on your family's table? 15. The secret ingredients that made everything taste like the 80s. Behind every iconic 80s meal was a pantry stocked with the decade's most beloved secret weapons. Those magical ingredients that somehow made everything taste better. Ranch dressing wasn't just a salad topping. It was practically a food group, drowning everything from pizza to vegetables in creamy, herby goodness. Velveeta cheese transformed ordinary dishes into gooey masterpieces, while packets of Hidden Valley Ranch mix could turn boring chicken into something your friends would actually ask for the recipe. These weren't gourmet ingredients by any stretch, but they had something more valuable than sophistication. They had the power to make weeknight dinners feel special. The real genius was in products like Lipton's onion soup mix, which didn't just flavor that famous dip but also elevated pot roasts, meatloaf, and countless casseroles with its salty, umami-packed punch. Looking back, it's almost shocking how much flavor came from those little foil packets and processed cheese blocks, but somehow they created the comfort food magic that still makes us nostalgic today. 16. The microwave revolution. How one appliance changed everything. While those secret ingredients were busy transforming flavors, the microwave was quietly revolutionizing how 80s families actually cooked their meals. This wasn't just about reheating leftovers. The microwave became the star player that made many of these iconic dishes possible in the first place. Suddenly, you could steam vegetables for that chicken divan in minutes, melt cheese for nachos without burning it, and even bake a potato while the rest of dinner was cooking on the stove. The microwave turned busy parents into kitchen wizards, letting them pull off seemingly complicated meals in half the time their own mothers needed. What's really wild is how this one appliance created an entirely new category of convenience foods, from microwavable bacon to those plastic steam-in-bag vegetables that somehow tasted fresher than anything we'd boiled to death before. The microwave didn't just speed up cooking, it democratized it, making elaborate-seeming dinners accessible to families who barely had time to breathe between soccer practice and PTA meetings. 17. When dinner became a family production line. The real magic of 80s dinners wasn't just in the microwave or those flavor packets. It was how meals became interactive experiences that got the whole family involved. Think about it. Taco night turned your dining room into a bustling assembly line, with kids arguing over who got the last of the shredded cheese while mom frantically warmed more tortillas. 7-layer dip became a spectator sport as everyone watched dad carefully layer each ingredient like he was building the pyramids. Even something as simple as shake and bake pork chops became a family affair, with little hands eagerly shaking those plastic bags until the coating was perfectly distributed. This wasn't just about saving time. These meals created a sense of participation that made everyone feel like they'd contributed to dinner, even if all they did was sprinkle some crushed Fritos on top of a casserole. The 80s basically turned every family into a well-oiled dinner machine, where everyone had their role and the final product felt like a group achievement rather than just mom's cooking. 18. The Great 80s Dinner Party Renaissance. While weeknight dinners were all about convenience and family participation, the 80s also sparked an incredible dinner party boom that made every suburban home feel like a sophisticated restaurant. Suddenly, everyone's parents were attempting elaborate fondue nights with those trendy electric pots, turning cheese and chocolate into interactive entertainment that lasted for hours. Quiche became the ultimate show-off dish, because nothing said, "I'm cultured," quite like serving a French egg pie that took actual skill to make properly. The dinner party scene exploded with themed nights too, from Mexican fiestas complete with margarita machines to Italian evenings where someone's dad would dramatically toss Caesar salad at the table like he was performing dinner theater. These weren't just meals. They were full productions where parents could flex their entertaining muscles and show off those new matching dishware sets they'd been saving for special occasions. The pressure was real. Mess up the beef Wellington or let the soufflé collapse, and you'd be the talk of the neighborhood for weeks. 19. The salad bar obsession that took over America. The 80s didn't just revolutionize hot meals. It absolutely transformed how Americans thought about salads, turning them from boring side dishes into elaborate architectural masterpieces. Every restaurant from Sizzler to Pizza Hut suddenly had massive salad bars with sneeze guards protecting mountains of iceberg lettuce, shredded cheese, bacon bits, and those weirdly addictive croutons that tasted like garlic butter heaven. At home, parents became obsessed with creating their own salad bar experiences, buying those divided serving trays and filling them with cherry tomatoes, sliced olives, sunflower seeds, and at least 3 different dressing options. The real star of the show was ranch dressing, which basically became its own food group and got slathered on everything from lettuce to pizza crusts. Suddenly, eating vegetables felt like a choose-your-own-adventure game, and kids who normally refused anything green would actually pile their plates high just for the fun of building something themselves. The salad bar craze was so intense that some families would actually skip the main course at restaurants and just hit the salad bar multiple times, turning what should have been a side dish into a full competitive eating event. 20. Frozen vegetables. The freezer aisle game changer. While fresh produce sat wilting in the crisper drawer, 80s families discovered that frozen vegetables were actually their secret weapon for getting dinner on the table fast. Those bright green boxes of bird's eye vegetables, especially the ones in that magical butter sauce, became absolute dinner staples that made even the pickiest eaters somewhat willing to eat their veggies. Mom would just toss a bag of frozen corn, peas, or mixed vegetables into boiling water or nuke them in the microwave, and boom! Instant side dish that required zero chopping, washing, or actual effort. The real breakthrough was when they started selling those fancy vegetable medleys with names like California Blend or Italian Mix, making families feel worldly and sophisticated even though it was just broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots thrown together. Nutritionists kept insisting frozen vegetables were just as healthy as fresh ones, which gave parents the perfect excuse to skip the produce section entirely and stock up during those massive freezer sales. Let's be honest. Those little packages saved countless weeknight dinners from complete disaster, and they took up way less space than actual fresh vegetables that would inevitably turn into science experiments. 21. Jell-O salads. When dessert pretended to be healthy, the 80s had this absolutely wild obsession with putting everything imaginable into Jell-O and calling it a salad, which somehow made it acceptable to serve alongside the main course instead of after dinner. Your mom probably had at least 3 different Jell-O molds tucked away in the cabinet, those fancy bunch-shaped ones that turned ordinary lime or orange gelatin into what looked like architectural masterpieces. The most popular versions mixed fruit cocktail, mini marshmallows, or even shredded carrots into that jiggly base, creating these bizarre combinations that nobody would dream of eating today but somehow tasted amazing back then. Some adventurous families went full retro and made those truly shocking savory versions with vegetables suspended in lemon Jell-O, which sounds absolutely disgusting now but was considered sophisticated dinner party fare. The best part was watching your slice wobble precariously on the plate, threatening to slide off at any moment while you tried to get a forkful that held together. These colorful, bouncy creations showed up at every potluck, holiday gathering, and Sunday dinner throughout the decade, proving that 80s families genuinely believed that anything encased in gelatin automatically counted as a vegetable serving. 22. Key takeaway. For anyone who grew up in the 1980s, these 14 nostalgic meals capture the era's love for convenience, comfort, and creativity, from TV dinners and casseroles to microwave favorites and lunchbox classics that defined a generation's dining table. 23. https://nvm websites budwig 5g9 av3 epaya.z03.azurefd.net/247 food recipes /8 fdc9d7f442-25e4 fb59b6 cafb3f509.jpg. Here's something that might surprise you. Despite all the jokes about processed foods and questionable casseroles, 80s families actually sat down together for dinner way more often than today's households. A stunning 70% of families ate together most nights back then, compared to barely half that now. Sure, we had our share of hamburger helper and TV dinners, but those meals brought everyone to the same table at the same time, something that's becoming increasingly rare in our modern takeout and delivery culture. The 80s weren't just about convenience, they were about gathering around food, even if that food came from a box. Think about it. When was the last time your whole family sat down together without phones, ate the same meal, and actually talked? That's what made those seemingly simple dinners special. We weren't just eating shake and bake pork chops or tuna casserole. We were connecting, sharing our days, and building memories that would last decades. The food might have been humble, but the ritual was golden.